Ladies and gentlemen, it's Friday night, a little bit after 7, but since it's Friday night, the weekend is right, and what a way to start it off with the OGs. The Cowboy OG podcast is in the building. What is going on tonight? We are here as always. We're going to get to you, whether it's tonight, tomorrow night, whatever the case may be, we're going to get to you. We're here, win, lose, or draw. We're here ready to talk. I'm going to be honest with y'all tonight. I don't know what in the world we're going to talk about tonight. I know one thing we're going to talk about, and that's the upcoming game with the Charter. But y'all might need to share this right now because I got a feeling it's going to be kind of ignorant tonight in a good way. And, of course, y'all know me. I'm big time. I'm with my brothers tonight. Cowboy Joe and B-Bird are in the building, and we're not going to even waste time. I don't know what they gonna say, y'all. We just gonna flow like we always do. But I'm feeling animosity in the air already. I feel explosion is about to happen. So let me get out the way, and then we just gonna flow. Cowboy Joe, say hello to the good people tonight.
What's up, good people? This is Cowboy Joe from Father and Son Cowboys and Sportscast. It's good to be on with B-Bird and Big Time Show. Always good to talk with you guys. I'm just going to jump off the top rope. We heard the breaking news today that Deron Bland is probably looking at another surgery, according to Brian Browder. Shout out to him. He's going to have a screw replaced in his foot. So that's never good. Hope we're not looking at a, Sam Bowie type situation with his foot. But, kind of once you start having problems with that, what you got to do there is just kind of let everything heal up. And I just really felt like Bland and Diggs, one of the things that we're going to talk about to recap this season when we talk about it, I just think they both came back, rushed back, and it really impacted the way they look. So that's maybe one of the things we can talk about is Bland having another surgery.
Wow. B-Bird, what's up, man?
Not much, man. I was trying to figure out, somebody told me that the Chargers, we were favored over the Chargers this weekend, and I don't gamble no more, but that almost made me want to go back and put a little bit of money down on it.
Somebody lied to you because they were 2.5 underdogs.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I was going to say, I didn't understand how that was even going to go.
I kill that real quick. That's not the case.
Yeah, ahead, man. So, me and my son just went out and got a bite to eat. We was coming back. We was talking about tanking and not tanking and all the other kind of stuff. So, at the start of the season, I never thought we'd be here talking about tanking. That's all I'm going to say, man. So, it just tells you the trials and tribulations that we went through. We also talked, and I said, really, the season took a turn at the start when we decided Michael Parsons and with the hiring of Eberflus. So those two things, really think about it, go back to the this season going down, those were the two things. And Joe, from a timeline perspective, Shotty was hired before Eberflus. But in the real terms, Eberflus was hired before Shotty. So you're definitely right on that. Because James Slater even broke that news this week too and said, theoretically they're hired, but they already had Eberflus picked out. But one thing that they're not saying, Cowboy Joe, that you brought up, but I can't get clarification on because I think you're right. Joe, you're the first one and the only one that brought out the fact that part of the allure to getting Eberflus is the fact that Chicago probably still paying them money from firing him. So the Cowboys may have gotten him at a discount rate too. So I want to give you a shout out because you've been on this Eberflus team from the start, man, and you were right about it.
Yeah, and then, for some reason, I don't even know why, last year, something just hit me and I started following the Bears. A couple of games they had kind of toward the end of the season, and I started just following what was going on up there. And what happened there is just a repeat of what happened here. So the players were having meetings about him offline, and it was both sides of the ball. They were not happy with the game plans. And then the thing that was really ticking them off was whenever he would make bad decisions, he would never take accountability. So he wasn't personable. The players didn't really like him. And so he was dismissed. And the other thing that caught my attention, and I got it half right, I told my son when he got fired, I said, that's the next Cowboys head coach is going to be Matt Eberflus.
Wow.
But yeah. I got it halfway right. And what was weird is when they made a decision to move on from McCarthy, I'm talking about within hours, we was hearing that they were going to hire Eberflus as a defensive coordinator. So, but they've done it before. They did that with McCarthy and Kellen. And so, one of the things we got to talk about this franchise is they got to start making some changes where they operate. So I don't know how that's going to go. So we'll just talk about it. But yeah, I think it's kind of coming to fruition. Now he's going up into the press box, so that interaction that him and Shotty had last week, I think what we're seeing right now, Shotty is just saying, get out of my face. I don't even want to see you on the sideline. One thing I want to ask you guys, I want to get into. So we talked about Al Harris a lot. So Al Harris was the guy that was on the sideline that was kind of talking to the players. Dan Quinn was in the booth. I couldn't tell you what David Overstreet looks like. Have you guys ever seen David Overstreet?
I have, but he's.
Have you seen him on the sideline talking to players at all?
I mean, but that's gonna be kind of hard to do. I've seen him on the sideline, but he's, the camera picks up the things that are important, and I'm not trying to say Coach Overstreet is not important, but it ain't too many cameras on him. You know what I'm saying? The camera usually reserved for Eberflus, is reserved for Schottenheimer, and then the players. You don't. Every now and then they'll skip up to the booth and they'll go to Coach Adams. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But that's it. Yeah. But the position coaches don't get no airtime like that. That's just me talking. But
So kind of where I'm going with that is I'm wondering. So this week, with him being up in the booth, I think White Cotton is supposed to be the guy. So I'll just be interested to see if, I think one of the things that just hurt us all season long is we just didn't see anybody on the sideline talking to the defensive players during the game coming out the field. But like you said, it may just be a camera thing, but I just never saw it.
I'll go back. I don't mean to jump in. I don't know this. I know we're going with this, but he's still in charge of the defense. It makes no difference whether he in the box or low. He just gonna call the plays from that end. But it makes no difference to me. You still running zone. You still not blitzing. You still not. You know what I'm saying? So you ain't do nothing but call. I guess maybe. I think I heard Jerry say something about a bird's eye view, or the people that were asking the questions were saying he gets a bird's eye view, a better view. But no, Eberflus been a coordinator a long time, so I don't. He's had good defenses, so he called it on the sideline. So we ain't even get to this knick-knack, paddywhack, Sesame Street excuses for him. He just not a good defense right now. He's not. Yeah. He's not playing to the strengths of his players. And that's just the bottom line. It's real simple. If you got predominantly man corners who play better at man, then why are you in 85% zone? It's just, it's just common sense to me. So when I heard all that news, I said, they just, just talking just to be talking now. You know what I'm saying? Pick bread from the straws. It ain't no big deal whether he can look at him, stay at home and call defense. That's what I look at. I'm saying the same thing.
Yep.
Hey, I think he's been staying at home the first 12, 13 games anyway, right? That's what it looks like.
Yeah, come on, man.
So one of the things I would say too, man, is that Jerry said something about the last 3 games. It's nothing, and I could speak for us, for y'all two fellas. I don't think there's anything in the last 3 games Eberflus can do to save his job. I mean, so what? You're going to be playing against one legitimate team, which is the Chargers, but the other 2 teams are trying to tank. The Giants, I think, are in first place or number 1. They have the number 1 draft pick, and the Redskins aren't interested in winning. I mean, they're benching their quarterback. So I mean, we really should win those 2 games anyway. But one of the things too I was going to say about Eberflus is that you can almost look at the Bears and see them from last year or the year that Eberflus had them versus this year. It's just been 1 year, y'all. Mm-hmm. And Johnson came in and turned that team all the way around, man. So that kind of shows you about the coach that was there prior to, because it's not like he had an influx of talent also. These are mostly the same guys, man. And he just turned them around. It's just the big difference is the coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so one of the things we looked at on our show early in the week is kind of some solutions. So I've seen some of the names that they're talking about, and I think the Cowboys, what they need to do if they do move on without him, they need to interview a minimum of 8 to 10 coaches. So there's some guys that I think on the list that I'm impressed with. They just need to get a young, innovative coach. What I've been thinking about, guys, is what the Cowboys need to do. Defensively, they need to do what the Steelers and the Ravens do. They just have a defense. They have a system, and they just stick to it. And I think one big mistake that Jerry and Steven made, the Rob Marinelli scheme, they need to just be done with it and don't go back to that system at all. And when you look at what Dan Quinn did here, what Zim did, those are kind of your two options, that 4-3 type scheme. And then when you pick that scheme, really any players that you have, they're going to fit it. I was watching DeMarcus Lawrence last night. If he was on our team in the Zimmer or Dan Quinn scheme, he would fit it. If Michael was in one of those schemes, he would fit it. And then you go to your corners, Diggs, Bland, even Revelle, they fit both systems. So they just need to go back to one of those systems. They're kind of in the same family. And then just build your team from there. When you go to a scheme like that Tampa 2, Money Kiffin defense, that's Rob Marinelli looked at TJ Watt and said, I don't want him. He doesn't fit my system. What the Cowboys should have said is, no, we have a system. We're taking TJ Watt. We're gonna pick him, and you're gonna play him in this system. So I think that's one of the things they need to adjust going forward. Just pick one of those systems. A lot of coaches run it and just stick with it. Then just the players will fit in. With Diggs, Bland, Revelle, they don't have to do a whole lot of coaching in those systems. They just a natural fit for it. So that's just one thing I want to add.
One thing too, man, is that. So what do y'all think about Shotty? He hired the offensive staff. What do y'all think about? What grade would you give him on the offense and offensive staff?
I give him an A. I mean, they've been the number one offense predominantly the whole year. If they haven't been the number one offense, they've been in the top 3 the whole year.
Absolutely.
You got a 1,000-yard rusher who you didn't probably plan on. Williams playing this well, Pickens and Lamb. I mean, Lamb missed 5 games, 4 or 5 games, whichever one. He's still over 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
Pickens have been, incredible this year. Jake, other than the fumbling, has had a pretty good year catching the ball. All of this is with a lot of makeshift offensive lines, injuries everywhere. And you still have the number one offense, and of course, we don't have to say anything about Dak. It speaks for itself. So, for a first year coordinator, to be the head coach and the play caller, that's major. To have the number one offense, there shouldn't be any complaints. You can talk about situational football. You can talk about a play here and there, but man, look, it's hard to go past number one. They don't get no higher than that. Yeah. That's the way I feel about it. So I'm gonna give them an A.
So I agree. So I saw a stat, and my son is a stat guy. I'm not so much, but we averaged 29 points a game. And on one show I was listening to, they were saying that only 2 times in history, I believe, has a team averaged 29 points and missed the playoffs. Wow. And I also heard another stat that there's only 8 teams in NFL history that has given up 500 points. We're 80 points away from that. We've given up 420 points. So we just need 80 more points, and we will be one of the 9 teams worst defensively. So when I think about Shotty, when I grade him, I'm also grading him on the assistant coaches. So Clayton Adams and Connor Riley, just terrific hires. He did his homework. So what he needs to do now, the front office needs to just say, okay, we're going to let you do the same thing on the defense that you did on the offense. You're going to get you a Clayton Adams and a Connor Riley on defense, and then you'll be good to go.
So, Joe, that's why I was going with it. So you stole my thunder, because that's what I was saying. Shotty did a good job of hiring offensive guys. And what he did, man, he didn't limit himself to what the Joneses do, where they're going to get people that they feel comfortable with, that they've had history with. Shotty went and got the best, man. And that's what you got to do. The Joneses, the first criteria of them hiring is, are they going to be comfortable with the way we operate? And then we're going to see if they're going to be a great coach after that. Because that can't be your first criteria. Garrett was put on Phillips. Moore was put on Garrett. Moore was put on McCarthy. And Eberflus was put on Shotty. You got to stop hiring these. That's not the way it works on other teams, man. The head coach gets to hire his staff. And I don't know why they're going to get these guys and putting them in place and all this other kind of stuff. For one thing, I think it messes up the hierarchy, to be honest with you, because at some point in time, early on in McCarthy's tenure, I felt like Moore had as much say-so as McCarthy had. Because it's one of those things, if you ain't hired me, you can't fire me. If the Joneses hired them, then they feel like, hey, I can listen to the head coach, or I might not listen to the head coach. How many times did McCarthy go to the public saying, I'd like to see Amari Cooper get the ball more? Huh? Go tell him. Why you begging for us to do that? But if it's a guy that McCarthy hired, he feels obligated to McCarthy because McCarthy giving him a job. And so the Joneses don't understand that structure to whereas let this guy be the guy, let him hire his own staff, right? You can't just go get this guy and put it on there. And the point I was making was that Shotty hired good on the offense. I think he can do it on the defense too, but they have to allow him to do that, man.
Well, there was one name that the history shows that is their structure. They believe they have to put their hands into the coaching staff.
That's part of it.
That and it goes further back than what you just said. The other one was, if you remember, since we OGs and those that are older can remember, you remember Wade Phillips.
Yep.
Was the head coach and had Jason Garrett as the coach in waiting.
That was the first one I said. That was the first one I said.
Exactly. I'm sorry. I wasn't listening at the time.
That's the first time it happened.
So that has been in place, and it just every coaching regime, they have to have their select guy, and that's their system. Yeah. It is, because they keep doing it over and over again.
Yeah.
No head coach, if he's coming in the head coach, no head coach comes in saying, let me hire my staff and you hire who you want. Nobody don't do that. Nobody. But it's the forcing of one guy or two guys every year. And so what you're hoping is, as you said, B-Bird, is that they would, because Schottenheimer knows coaches. I believe he already knows in his head if it comes open, it ain't gonna take long to fill in the spot. He already knows who he wants. So hopefully Jerry with them will learn their lesson, but history shows they never do. Let me go back to this real quick, y'all. We got a bigger problem on defense, and Cowboy Joe brought it up earlier. We're talking about whoever made, if Eberflus is fired, whoever comes in, what scheme you ought to play. Well, I'm gonna add something to that now, based off what we just heard today, and when you start thinking about Diggs, and that is, man, look, Joe said it 1,000,000% correct. When you start having foot problems, you just about done. I'm serious. And so based off of that, or you just won't be the same. Okay. We're back in the quarterback room for real now.
Yes.
Because Diggs gonna be gone after this year, so he gone. And now Bland, if he's having another surgery on his foot, shoot, right about now, he ain't gonna be ready for training camp. They gonna be so ginger with him. And you hope that, whatever his issue is fixed, but we about to go into the next season with what, Revere? I mean, you kidding me?
He's injured too.
I mean, he's not right. You figure if he can make it out of this these last couple games, he'll be ready to go. By the next season. But I'm saying, like, once you look at our quarterback room, it just got worse. So this now changes everything as far as I'm concerned, as far as free agency goes and the draft. We got to factor that in. Once the word come out that Bland, his foot is messed up again, and he got to have. I heard Jerry say today he's gonna have to have surgery on the same foot. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So we ain't. I mean, come on now. We got to factor that in now as we look forward. Like, do we even have one cornerback for real? If we start talking about next year, I know we ain't talking about it now, but I'm saying like this is not good. I mean, for real, we down to third in practice squad guys now for Sunday. Got to be.
Well, the thing is, man, with the Bland, I like Bland. I don't love Bland. Okay. So even with the year he had the big interceptions, he just wasn't this. Gilmore probably was a better corner overall. He made the bigger plays, but Gilmore was more of a lockdown, reliable guy. But one thing I remember with Bland is this: Bland's been injured a lot lately, and I think that definitely Jerry, when he signed him and Tyler Smith, right after he didn't sign, right after he traded Micah. It was one of those, look what I'm doing with the money. I'm going to go sign these guys. And really he could have waited. I remember when Aiden Hutchinson, I guess about game 7, they announced they signed his contract. And what it was, there's 2 things I remember about it. It was quiet, no drama, just walked up to him. But what the conversation was in the offseason was the GM pulled Aiden Hutchinson to the side and said, hey, look, I know you're coming off injury. All you got to do is go out there and show that you're the same person as you was before, and we're going to sign you. Well, Jerry probably could have waited for Bland to show him that he was the same person before signing him. But a lot of these decisions are made emotionally, man. And so that was an emotional decision. But I really think, man, from the cornerback and a safety room, I think you need to get a high-rated free agent safety and draft a safety high. I think you need to get a high-rated cornerback and draft a cornerback high. That's how I think you fix it, man. And so we have to use free agency this year. And I'm not talking about 2-month-old free agents. I'm talking about free agents.
You would think.
So
go ahead.
I want to piggyback on that. And so I think what they have to do is pick up the phone and call Miami and offer them a 4th for Minkah Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Then draft a corner. They also need to call the Raiders and see, and a defensive end name escapes me at the moment. What's his name?
Max Crosby.
Just call the Raiders. Just pick up the phone and call. And then one thing I would do too is they got 2 1s. Pick up the phone and call Cleveland and just say, okay, I got 2 1s. What do you want from Myles Garrett? So these are some things that they can do. They're going to have the money to do it. So the question is just going to come back down to this front office. And, you guys brought up a great point. It seems like they just have to have their hand in it. That's why they do this coaching thing in the way that they do it. Patrick Creighton told a story one time. It was one of the craziest things I ever heard. He said that when Wade Phillips was the head coach, they were practicing, and Wade Phillips ended the practice. And Jason Garrett said, no, my unit is not done practicing. We're going to keep going. And so they kind of had like a little discussion, and it was like, hey, you got 2 head coaches here. So some of the stuff that we're talking about, we got to ask ourselves is, are they willing to actually come in and just break this thing down and just do what they need to do? They're going to have the money. They had the draft picks. And so one thing I want to talk about, so the Rams, this is pretty interesting. So a few years back, Steven was just bragging openly that he doesn't want to do what the Rams did. So here's what the Rams have done. So the Rams said, F them picks. They won a Super Bowl. Last year, they were in the NFC Championship game. They really should have won. If that game had been played in LA, they would have beat the Eagles.
Now, they wasn't in it last year. That was the playoffs.
That was the game. That was the game before?
Yeah, the game before.
Okay, so, and then this year, they're probably going to be there again. And not only that, they have the Falcons' #1 pick. I don't know how that happened. But I said all that to say this. Just look at what these teams are doing. Look at Seattle. Look at what's happening with them. And so that they just need somebody to come in from the outside and just tell them, my company, we always hired outside people to look at our company. Man, they in a desperate way, they need somebody to come in and just from the outside, like a bird's eye view, and just tell them, here are the things that you guys have been doing for 31 years. you either change it now or nothing's gonna change. That's what they need to do.
Well, I can just tag in on what both of you saying, and I add this. You got about a 2-year window.
Yeah.
That's it.
And you just wasted one.
If you're serious about see, we got to define the goals here. Everybody keeps saying make the playoffs. Well, that's not my goal. If you're talking about winning the Super Bowl, that's the goal. Then there's some things that they're going to have to do that they don't do. You done got a nice piece with Quentin Williams. Your defense should be built around him. You have a outstanding passing game. You got an outstanding running back that showed what he can do if he finally stay healthy, which so far seemed like he did. You got an offense. You have pieces on defenses. Now, if your solution, or you heard Cowboy Joe talk about solutions, well, the Cowboy solution has always been to be cheap.
Absolutely.
And draft and develop. They stay away from the free agents, the heavy tier free agents. They love the bottom, they love the shop at the bottom of the barrel. They don't want Rolls Royces. They want Honda Accords. Shout out to all you who drive Honda Accord to get you, where you need to be. I'm just using it as an analogy. I'm not talking about your car. I'm just saying this is what they do. But if you're talking about winning the Super Bowl and go back to what Joe just said, to compete with the same teams like the Rams, like the Eagles, I use those too. Seattle had a real good year this year. I don't know if they'll do it next year or not. But the Rams have been consistent. The Eagles have been consistent. If you're gonna compete with these type guys, the Buffalo Bills, the Kansas City Chiefs, that was just a one bad year for them, and usually they're there. If you're gonna compete with those teams, you got to do something different. And my question will be, we'll know all we need to know the very first week of free agency, how serious they really are.
Absolutely.
If they wait until week 3 to get free agents and all that, we'll be talking about this same thing.
That's right.
Because it's time to what the Rams did. You didn't say it, Joe. And I even cared a year before then. The Buccaneers did it with Tom Brady. And what they did was they stacked the deck. That's what they did. They said, forget the picks, forget the future. We're trying to win a world championship right now. We got a 40-year-old quarterback in Tom Brady. We ain't got time for draft and development. We got Aaron Donald here with the Rams. We traded our first-round picks to get Matthew Stafford in here. When we got Matthew Stafford and traded away all them picks to get him, we're saying we're trying to win right now. The Super Bowl is in our stadium. We're trying to not only win it, we want to win the Super Bowl in our home stadium, and we're going to do whatever we got to do. We don't care nothing about the future. Cowboys don't think like that, and we already know that. That's why I'm not even going to get hype about it, because I know how Steven thinks. I know how he thinks. I know how Jerry thinks. Jerry said this, y'all, and I don't mean to keep talking.
No, keep on.
But Jerry said this about when we was in negotiation with Michael Parsons, or even after Michael left. He said, why would I pay one person this when I could pay 3 people that amount of money? Which one is the better value? See, as long as you got that mentality, we ain't talking about nothing. So I'm not even about to get hyped. That's why I say, okay, the way to fix it, Joe, since you brought it up, the way to fix it is your first step should be don't sign who you know you're going to sign off your roster. The Pickens, the Beta, Kenneth Clark. If you're going to sign Javonte Williams back, those guys, you need to go and do that. But after that, your next stop need to be go get an impact player from the free agent pool, a real dog to come in. Because here's another thing. I just talked about the cornerbacks. What about our edges? Dante Fowler ain't going to be in next year. Sam
No,
Williams may not be here next year. I forgot the other guy, but Jadeveon Clowney has played himself into some serious money again. Why? What? We ain't gonna pay him. So the only edge we got is Donovan Izaraku, really? So how are we gonna solve that? Because the problem was this year, we don't put no pressure on nobody. We don't have no edge guy. Okay, so please don't tell me you're gonna solve that by going to the draft and depending on the rookie. We just did that with Donovan Izaraku. We don't need to see a replay with that. Mm-hmm. Go get a dog. I agree with you. Call Miles, call Max Crosby, just see. Call Trey Hendrickson, call anybody that's gonna bring some type of pressure on here. This is how you solve it. You resolve it by putting dogs into the game. Cornerbacks. Who our corner? Good God. I mean, come on now. What we gonna depend on? Ravel and another rookie? Well, he's an All-American from whatever. No, man, we got to get some help. Come on now. And it can't be no Elams. See, they tried to throw Elam in our face like he was so great and all. He's a former first-round pick. Give me a break, man. Give me somebody. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna elevate us to the next level, not this level. Because we just seen it this year. We can't do it.
So you said something that should be the most disturbing thing we heard from the Cowboys front office, and I heard Jerry parrot the same thing. When Steven says, "Why pay one player this amount? We can play 4 players." Yeah. That's the most disturbing thing I've heard from them probably in the last 10 years, because that mentality will never get you over, because you're really choosing quantity over quality. So we can say this: that one player that you traded probably has more sacks than all the 4 players that's on the roster now. Because right now, somebody put a stat out today showing how ineffective or how ineffective our defensive ends have been in applying pressure, and we are the lowest in the league in that. And so, when the Rams did their thing and they went for it, they went to the top and got top tier talent and pushed everybody down. Y'all heard me say that before. That's the same thing we did with Quentin Williams. We made now our third defensive tackle is better than any third defensive tackle in the league. Why? We stacked it from the top down. We got to do that in free agency. One of the things that you said, Big Time, is absolutely true. We're going to know something early about their whole philosophy as soon as free agency starts. And I don't want to hear, no, we're waiting and, just be patient. No, go find your guy and get your guy. Don't be talking about, well, our first 5 guys are gone. Now we'll just get what's left over. That's been the issue, man. We got to get quality players in here and get better coaching in here. But those two things combined is what's going to get us over the hump, man.
So I want to point this out. So think about this. The 49ers recently, I'm talking about in the last 10 years, they played in 3 Super Bowls. They haven't won one. They 0-3, but they've rebuilt their team 2 or 3 times. They went to the bottom, came back up, went to the bottom, came back up. So in the last 10 years, they've rebuilt their team 3 times.
You got to watch out for Charlie, man. I can't do nothing. I'm on the thing, man. He's doing something.
I got him.
Okay. But so they rebuilt their team 3 times. We haven't made it to the NFC Championship game in 31 years. Now the Eagles have done it twice. So in the last 10 years, they've won 2. And so we talked about the Buccaneers, and that's what Kansas City is going to do. So these teams, I'm going to throw the Ravens in there too. I think the Ravens have won 2. So you got the Ravens, the 49ers, the Eagles, the Buccaneers. They rebuilt their team and made it to a championship game 2 or 3 times. We haven't made 1. And so what they need to do is they need to just sit back. On the free agency thing, they normally go on vacation the first week of free agency. So that's what you want to do, is just see where their GPS is the first week of free agency. Are they in Dallas? And things are virtual now. You can do it from anywhere. But yeah, they just need to understand you're going on 31 years and you got teams that they running laps around you.
Yeah.
And you just running, and you got the wrong person, with the baton or whatever the case may be. But yeah, I think Jerry outdid himself this year with this Micah thing. You really set the franchise back. So, like I said, one of the ways you're gonna dig out of this thing, to me, you call Cleveland and just say, what do you want from Myles Garrett? Do you want 3 1s? The Rams probably will just say, just take our 3 1s, and we're going to take Myles Garrett, and we'll build our team with the draft picks that we have, and we're gonna build it in free agency. The other thing the Cowboys need to stop doing, guys, they do this thing every year where they draft hurt players. I don't understand what's happening there. They've done it multiple times. And then the other thing that they do is, back in the day, we used to play Cowboys and Indians. You play Cowboys and Indians. Big time, they like to play draft. It's like they play draft. So in the second round, they just play around with their food. It's like you drafted Luke Schoonmaker, Kelvin Joseph, Tristan Hill. Like, what are you doing with the second round pick? If you're gonna do that, just trade the pick to Cleveland. Wow. So that's what I would say.
Wow. They have what they do is obviously try to catch lightning in a bottle.
Absolutely.
You're hurt now, but we're banking on you getting better with our training staff, and they're going to rehab you and get you to the place where you need to be. I think Jalen Smith is
one of them. Yeah.
He's the poster child for that.
Absolutely.
They tried to do the same thing with Michael Gallup. They tried to do the same thing with Sean Lee. They tried to do it with LVE. This is what they do. That's why I'm saying
Javon Reveal.
Tyron Smith. All these guys have a long history of being hurt, and they just hold on to them because you're just trying to catch that lightning in a bottle. That's the type of mentality, the type of stuff that I'm talking about. You drafted Reveal. You knew he had an ACL. It was very early in his recovery time. But what you're banking on is that in about a year and a half, if he wasn't hurt, he had a first round grade, just like Jalen Smith. If he didn't mess up himself, he definitely was a top 5 pick, and you're hoping that top 5 pick guy shows up, for 2 or 3 years for yourself. That's not a good way to play, run a football team. It's just not. You're crossing your fingers instead of getting the for sure thing. But this is the mentality that a lot of us are going to be asking to change. And I'm saying from the drafting process to the free agency process, even I left one out, y'all. Before we talk about free agency, there's one other thing that definitely got that this was going to be the first thing, and that is the restructuring. You got to restructure Dak. You should restructure Dak. Good Lord. You don't want that big cap hit.
Nah, the $70 million, man.
Exactly. 70. I mean, we know you're going to restructure that. You're going to have to restructure CD. This is going to free up the money. I saw something, and forgive me for not knowing the names, but I saw something where it's about 5 Cowboys. I think you let Terrence Steele go also. And essentially about 5 names will free up at least $111 million.
I saw that too. I can't remember what it was.
I wish I knew the names. I know I just
I think it was 105.3. They had a segment over how to save that. I think that's what it was.
Yeah. So the money will not be an issue as far as free agency goes. So we're going to eliminate that. The Cowboys had money this year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't do nothing with it.
The year before.
They just like to hold on to, hey, we got this amount in the money. And then, of course, it rolls over. Yeah. So they ain't really done nothing. So the money they got now, whatever the salary cap is now, that's going to roll over as well. On top of the salary cap that's going to go up again this year. So money will not be an issue. They can go get big fish out the big pond. They ain't got to get the big fish out the small pond. They can really go hunting this year, next season. The question will be, will they remain cheap? My history says yes. because if there's nowhere in the world nobody gonna make me. They're gonna have to shock me because I don't believe in Stephen Jones when it comes to this, and Jerry has been brainwashed by this. You know what I'm saying? They gonna run the game. Hey, we got the money. We gonna get guys, but who you gonna get? You see what I'm saying? Are we starting at B- level? And then because we don't do free agency on day one. Well, everybody else do. We don't want to overpay. Well, if you talking about winning the world championship, sometimes you got to sacrifice overpaying. You're close in talent. You're close. You just need to get over the hump. You get over the hump with more ball players. You can talk all scheme and all that. Go give me some players. That's all I need. That's all I'm saying.
You're absolutely right. One of the things you were talking about earlier on the second round draft pick, I just want to touch on it. Jerry does that because that's his ideal of gambling. He does, and that is a gamble. He's been a gambler there. But he does it because he's the only GM that can afford to do that. Jalen Smith could get other GMs fired. These other guys were drafted in the second round. Boss Man Fat, Kelvin Joseph, I think his name. They can get you fired if you miss on the second round draft pick. But Jerry understands that I can't get fired. I can take chances on this right here. But the thing about it is paying players is this. Suppose I was a right tackle away from I'm thinking of winning the Super Bowl. And it had one out there that was really good, outstanding. And I said, hey, you know what, man? I'm going to go make this guy an offer he can't refuse. I'm going to make him the highest paid right tackle in the game. Or you could say, man, the money you're asking for, I can get another dude less than that. The number one person that get the guy secured, no matter what, they probably gonna win the Super Bowl. The other one that get somebody 3 steps down from that guy probably ain't. It just depends on how much what's your goal. If your goal is to win the Super Bowl, you're gonna get the best players and you pay those guys. I'm not saying just overspend for everybody, but when it's a need on your team, like our team right now, suppose Mika Fitzpatrick, was a free agent and said, hey, I want this amount. Do you know how much he would upgrade your safety room?
Yeah.
You got to sign this guy. And y'all got to come to a conclusion. You can't be like, well, they offered him that much. I ain't going to pay that much. But they're trying to win. You ought to be trying to do the same thing. So, hey, it costs to be the boss, man. And you got to pay something. We got the money to pay. We just won't do it, man.
So, Big Time, I listened to your show. I think you're right. And was it Wednesday or Thursday?
One of those days, I forget.
You said the sun wasn't up.
Yeah.
But you talked about the draft, and I'm 100% in agreement. To me, it's like a game. I'm not up to playing in this little game they play with this draft. And to prove my point, so last year in the draft, guys, we really like Simmons, the tackle. He played for Ohio State.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs drafted him. Now, Boss Cowboy and all those guys, they like Booker. So I had Simmons rated pretty high in the draft. So just to give you an example how this thing works, let's just say the Cowboys had drafted Simmons. I saw Simmons play on Thanksgiving Day for Kansas City, Big Time.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was going to be a great pick.
Mm-hmm.
He gave up. He had 3 holding penalties. He should have had 9. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're not going to get over the hump through the draft. So if you draft Simmons or Booker, you're not going to do it. Mm-hmm. So again, just take the picks, do something you've never done before, because even the picks that you take that are going to be high, they're all going to be good players. But when you got a 2 or 3 year window, you don't really have time.
You don't have for development.
Just like Guyton, they were forewarned about Guyton. Everything that you heard in the scouting book about Guyton, it's all coming true. Not really sure if he's a first round pick. Not really sure if he's a tough enough guy. He's missing games. Now, 4 years from now, might be a good player, but Dak Prescott don't have time for Tyler Guyton to develop. There's no time for that. So They got to change the script and just go into free agency, free up this money. And going back to this $100 million, the thing that they need to be talked to about is the Eagles, the 49ers, the Ravens. They it's not even in a discussion what they would do. They would just do it, and they would do it. You wouldn't even know what they're doing, B Bird. But only in Dallas is it a big deal.
Yeah.
But see, I'm going back to the basics, and for those, hey, everybody, hit that like button for us if you're in the chat. Hit that like button from wherever channel you're watching it from. Go ahead, hit that like button for us if you don't mind. Let me say this, man. And I said it kind of like on the show today, and really, I'm going to be very repetitive these next few months once the season, officially is over, which will probably be this weekend, actually, for sure. Because our whole thing is, I know we got the Chargers game, but if Philly wins tomorrow night, the season is over. It's over with. So I mean, we may just be coming in or whatever the case may be on Sunday, really playing for absolutely nothing but pride, to be honest with you. But anyway, we talking about the draft, and you guys are right. But I'm going back to very basics. We've already said it, but I'm gonna say it again, man. Look, why would you? I'm just using this example. Why would you draft for LVE? And his position is linebacker, a place where a position that is highly physical.
Yes.
And you knew when you drafted him that he had neck problems.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Why would you draft him? You knew he had neck issues. What, you thought he was going to get better? Or you think that your training staff are miracle workers? And here we are, just a couple years later. The boy ain't even 30 years old. He's not even 30. He ain't played last. And in less than 2 to 3 years, he's done.
That's right.
And the reason why, because of neck issues. Why would you give all this money to Michael Gallup when you knew his knees weren't right? Because you loyal? Why would you get Jalen Smith? They told you eventually he was going to be shot with his knee. You were able to get a little bit out of him, but I'm saying this mentality has to change. Go back to drafting injured people. This is what they do every single year, and their draft is not complete unless they draft a guy who's either just had surgery or he's just coming off surgery. And you'll bring them in and their bodies does not hold up. I really am worried now because the whole strategy has changed. We talking about edges. We talking about we need linebackers. We talking about this. Man, we need quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Well, you need a defense.
We need defense, but I'm saying like the quarterback position. You
need everything.
I mean, but I'm saying the people that you were gonna count on, they ain't gonna be. You can't count on them. No. And I'm saying like we don't have nothing. We're at the bare bottom in some of these positions, like edge and corner now. Since Bland is about to have surgery, I can't count on Bland no more. You gonna get what you gonna get out of him. He ain't gonna be worth right. I mean, this changes everything. But the mentality of the Jones family, if we talking about really winning the Super Bowl or competing, I'm talking about from A to Z. Some things don't change, and I'm sorry if I'm making people mad, but I don't see it in them. I'm sorry. I done seen enough. I know Jerry Stevens for years. I know what to look for. This is not them. And what we're going to be asking for, we're going to get mad all over again. First week of free agency going to go by. Saying, come on, Jerry, come on. And y'all, and everybody going to be thinking they didn't have no plans of getting no free agent.
Yeah.
We're going to draft, and it's going to be somebody that just makes it obvious. And they're going to draft another goddamn lineman. Like another first round lineman. And I'll be like, man, good Lord now. I mean, come on now. Even if it calls for it, he's a rookie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be another rookie. If Steele leaves, folks going to say, hey, man, we need a right tackle. We really need a right tackle. And if you say, well, move Guyton back to his rightful position as a right tackle.
No.
Okay, who your left tackle? Then somebody gonna say, well, you know what? I know they say they want Tyler Smith at guard, but he did start off as tackle, and that's really what he drafted him for, was to replace Tyron Smith. Let's go get the best left guard out the draft and put him in there and move Tyler Smith back to left guard, move Guyton back to right tackle, and we got another first round pick at left guard, the best left. And I'm like, God dang, how many times we got to experiment? I mean, how much more experiment do we got to do before we get something solid here? I mean, for real. You know, we got to go through this drama with Pickens. Are we going to do them long term?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are we going to franchise them? If you franchise them,
right?
it's Pickens' attitude going to be right, because it's only going to be 28 or 29 million for the franchise tag. For that, is Pickens going to be right? Will he have these mysterious injuries now that he can't? We about to go through the same movie over and over again, unless they strip it down and do stuff like Joe just said, do things they ain't never done. I just don't see it, Joe. I'm sorry, I don't see it.
So one thing you said in there, Gallup was signed as a response to them trading Amari.
Yeah.
Jalen Smith was signed because they wanted to show up Zeke in his holdout. And Bland and Smith was signed. They're trying to show what they can do with Michael's money. So all these things are just reactionary type things. They're not football moves. They're emotional moves, man.
They're personal moves.
Personal, that's what I'm saying. That's the word. It's personal. They got nothing to do with football. Yeah. And so, Joe, you said something earlier I wanted to just talk to you about, because they used to do this a lot, right? Till they got. I still got the picture. So they used to have a yacht trip, and they had the all-white day, and that was right during free agency.
Yeah, Romo was on there.
Romo and Witten and their family. And so I saw it all. They had all white, and it wasn't just the clothes they had on too.
Was Frankie Beverly there?
What was that?
Was Frankie Beverly on the boat?
No.
Frankie Beverly and Mays.
They probably had the feelings though, but they don't do that anymore, man. They done found out that that's a bad look, so they don't put anything out about that anymore. They probably still go on the trip, but they don't put anything out about that anymore, man. But I just wanted to just make those couple of comments. What you got, Joe?
So we're going to get a couple of clues, like y'all said. You know, the first one for me, it's not going to be free agents. It's going to be the Pickens deal. And if they're smart, they would just let, Adam Pacifica and those other guys just get that one done, and don't play around. Don't start putting out stories through the media about, when he was in the 8th grade, he did this. And, when he was in college, he, ran a stop sign or whatever the case may be. So we're gonna get a big clue on what they're doing, the way that deal is going to be handled. And then, like you said, with free agency, and I just wanted to talk about, so they got a couple of big things coming up. The hiring of this defensive coach, if they go that route. If you go to the 49ers, the Ravens, the Eagles, they can bring you in the front office big time, and they can walk you to a room and they can show you a PowerPoint of how they hire coaches. They can show you a PowerPoint of how they draft. But when you go to the Star, they're going to just take you down to Jerry's office and say, this is our hiring process. There is no process. They take you to Steven and say, this is it. We don't have an actual process of drafting or hiring. So that's what they're going to have to do. And they got to do it pretty quick, because I heard yesterday they got tickets for $70 a piece for the game on Sunday. So maybe that'll get his attention. I'm not sure that it will.
No, it's not. But this is a be either as soon as this season is over with, or whatever day, the last game, whatever the case may be, we're gonna find out real quick. And I'll be here, just like I'm quite sure you guys will be here to either talk about the same old movie, and everybody gonna get excited about I'm not excited already because I kind of know my owner. I know his son. I'm already telling you that now. I'm not excited about the end of this year. I'm irritated as a fan because, you know, I understand we had injuries, but when you had money to maybe help solve some of this or get better, you didn't do it. You knew you were playing third string on down cornerback. You knew you had practice squad guys playing.
Yeah.
But you had Asante Samuel Jr. on the couch.
Absolutely.
You had Gilmore on the couch.
Yeah.
You could have got one of them. It's just unbelievable. You knew you didn't have no edge. You know you didn't have any edge. I'll go to Eberflus on that. Scheme wise. You started off with the tease of the 5-man front. Had pressure on Goff. You had pressure last week. The first against McCarthy. And then all of a sudden you go back to your drop 7, rush 4. You ain't get no pressure, nothing, period. It's just that simple. That scheme. That I blame that one on him. But at the same time, you got some answers on the bench. Excuse me, James Houston. Is James Houston leading our team in sacks this year? I mean, put him on the field. Why you got the answers on the bench? I don't understand it. Why did you get Logan Wilson and Murray is not playing well? Why you won't put him on the field? I don't get it. I don't understand it. Or why you trade for him? Why isn't Clowney out there more? Why I don't understand why Leofow still sitting on the bench? You got some give me, you got some answers. I'm not saying they're the answer, but you got some better players that are just not playing. I don't understand. I don't understand it. But I do understand it because you have Jerry in this. Now, here's what the next thing gonna be. If the Eagles win tomorrow, then look, I ain't excited to see Dak Prescott play no more.
No.
I'm sorry. I mean, by the end, most people would be saying, well, let's quote unquote tank. Because right now, as we speak, if we had to draft now, I think they say the Cowboys at 14. Well, you lose 3 more games, you might be top 10.
Yeah, Big 10. Yeah.
You might be top 10.
Well, hey, Big Time, let me interrupt right quick. That's going to be my question. So what do y'all think about seeing guys, like evaluating guys on these last 3 games, like Leofow and you mentioned and some other guys, just to see what we got for next year? I mean, what do y'all think about that?
Why are you playing the Stars and get them hurt at the end of the year? And if they have an ACL, it's kind of like Mahomes right now.
Like Mahomes,
Patrick Mahomes I know what he said. Patrick Mahomes said he'll be ready to go, at the beginning of training camp. Well, from the quarterback position, you might could get away with that. You might can get away. But let's just be realistic. It's less than a year. Way less than a year. And you're taking a real chance on, maybe having another real issue, really getting hurt again. Mm-hmm. So, but why would you get hurt and you put him out there? I don't need to see Dak. Dak has proven himself. Fine.
That's right.
There's some other guys that don't need to be playing. I get Pickens that may need to play. I get it because he's trying to, stack everything he can. But I don't need to see CD playing. I'm sorry. Why are we playing? Other than some young guys getting some work. I mean, what for what? And especially you need to capitalize on one of those first round picks because the Packers, I know they just lost Micah, but they got a chance at least go second round. They might make the championship game. Who knows?
That's like hot 20s.
And I mean, they'll be drafted late in the first round. So really what you going to pick up in the first round now? I mean, you're going to pick up somebody.
It's really going to be a second round pick, basically.
Exactly. So you saying we got 2 first round picks? Really? Do you really got it? So your first round pick, your Cowboy pick, your record needs to be as high as possible. Well, if you talking about putting the number 1 offense on the field and they playing for nothing, and then you risking injury. I mean, it just makes no sense to me. So I agree. Yeah, get rid of him. Let him sit down and be through with it. That's the way I look at it.
So what I want to ask you guys about this as we kind of wind down. I thought about this. I was talking to my son about it, and you guys can relate to this, Bishop. So here's the thing I want to say about Jerry that I'm disappointed with. So the question I have, has Jerry been a good steward of the Cowboys? And y'all know what that word means. So now he's done a lot of good things off the field. You know, I can like the guy Josh Brent, who had the accident with the player that was killed. You know, Josh Brent has been working for the Cowboys ever since. He's a scout now. And Clarence Hill talks about how, you know, Jerry, what he did for him when his father passed. I know a lot of things that Jerry has done off the field that is just great stories to hear. He's done great things. But the other side of Jerry is he kept Jimmy Johnson out of the Ring of Honor for 30 years. And you saw this thing that he did with Micah. You know, you kind of, you know, the way he held Dez on the team, kept Dez to after free agency was over, kept telling Dez Camp, you know, you're going to come back. We going to sign you. Let free agency end, then you cut him. And so I guess one of the questions that we just got to ask is, you know, has he been a good steward of the Cowboys? And I'm just 50-50 on it. And this was another year. So last year and this year, you just got to look at it and you just got to say, man, there was 2 opportunities for you to really do something the last 2 seasons. Last year, you basically just said, we're not doing anything. We just going to take a year off with money on the cap. And then this year, you know, another year. So we just Cowboy fans, you know, we're Cowboy fans of the team. We're always going to be fans. But man, you know, Jerry, and I kind of thought for a minute that Steven had really just kind of taken over. But man, these last 2 years, Jerry has made a strong comeback, and I think he's in charge. So if he's in charge, I just don't know how this thing is going to turn out.
I answer your question to has he been a good steward? It depends on what angle you're coming from. You answered your own question. Just depend on what angle you're coming from. If you're talking about marketing, there's no one better. You're talking about how much the most made money from NFL franchise. I mean, there's no one better. General managership, no. You know, proper hires, no. Selection of players, no. You know, you hit it in the 50-50. Jerry got lucky this year because, again, yes, we got George Pickens, but it was for cheap. It wasn't like we just say, let's go get this guy. We didn't know what Pickens was going to bring. He exceeded every expectation. We know the talent level, but nobody expected him to do what he's doing now. So that was by luck. You only paid, a third round, whatever it was. It's a great trade, but you weren't expecting all pro production from him. The big risk this year was not signing Micah and then going to get Kenny Clark and Quentin Williams. Williams is getting somebody like Williams is something we don't do. And so I will give him credit for that without a doubt. He said he wanted to stop the run, and he did. He just forgot about the back end. That was his problem is. He still stopped the run. As of right now, since they traded Williams, the stats say that the Cowboys are second in the league against the run. So he did that. He solved that problem. He just forgot about the cornerback room. He forgot about the safety room. And that's what the problem is. So at the same time, you can blame that on him. So it's 50-50. We can pick and choose on that part. The real test is going to be, as B-Bird has said and I've said and you kind of mentioned, as soon as this season is over with, and watch every move that he does as far as restructuring, as far as free agency, and yes, even the draft. Let's see what he does, and let's ask that question again, and then that'll kind of tell us what we're gonna do. But you know, like I said, I'm sorry, I'm spoiled by history, and my history says these guys are gonna try to hype everything up and there ain't nothing really gonna change.
So you asked a question about being a good steward. I would say no. The thing is that the money making, the marketing, and things like that, that doesn't affect us fans, right? That doesn't do anything for us. What affects us is winning. Like Kansas City is probably a small market team. They probably not making as much money, especially if they're not winning, but they're winning Super Bowls. I think that's what we look for an owner to deliver Super Bowls, and he just has not done that. And it's been just a mismanagement of it's ego and narcissism that keeps him doing what he's doing, man. So I would say that the end results say that no. When you go 31 years without an NFC Championship game, I mean, you have to go out your way to be bad to do that, right? Like nobody, I think just the average team gets there. I think Carolina's been there since we've been there about 4 or 5 times. Carolina Panthers, y'all. And so, and they've been there, came back, rebuilt, and went again. The Carolina Panthers. So we're not even better than those guys. We're the Dallas Cowboys, man. We're the most valuable franchise in the world. But then we got a guy that says, I'm not going to pay a coach. I'm not going to fire a coach. I'm not going to pay a coach to be on the couch. That makes no sense, man. And so we are, I've said this before, we are the most valuable franchise in the world, but we operate like we're the Jacksonville Jaguars. You can't tell no difference between us and the Jaguars. Wow. So has he been a good steward? Nah, man, he has not been a good steward. He actually been a terrible steward, to be totally honest with you. Even back when Steinbrenner for the Yankees, he didn't know what he's doing, but you know what he did? He paid high-priced players trying to get it done.
And he won that way, too.
He won that way. And so the thing about it is, man, like you would figure like Jerry would be one of those guys that just like, I'm just going to throw money at the problem and hopefully everything works out. Nah, he does the opposite. And it's just crazy to me, man. One day, man, we're going to figure out financially what's going on with this organization because it may not be we might be one of those asset-rich, cash-poor teams, man. But no, he has not been a good steward of this franchise at all, man. You know, people will point to the 3 Super Bowls, and I could point to that too. That isn't his legacy. But it's almost like this, man. If you got straight A's in the 3rd grade, the 4th grade, and the 5th grade, but got C's and D's all the way through, are you an A student because you got or because you got A's in the 3rd and 4th grade? Or is it a combination of all the last few years, right? And so he got A's his first 3 or 4 years there, but he's been getting C's and D's, man, since then. So no, he's not a good steward at all.
Yep.
Fire that B-Bird.
That's a good way to wrap it up. I think.
No, we can't wrap it up because we can't wrap it up quite yet, Joe. We done talked all this talk. We got one last thing to talk about.
I'm rolling. I'm good. I'm good.
We forgot about the Chargers.
Well, I'm ready for you on that.
Go ahead. Let's just make it quick.
It's gonna tie into what I
said on the game.
So we're gonna lose, and but but let me give you some hopium, and you're gonna appreciate this because you're a Michigan guy.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I want you to look at the Chargers defensive coordinator. His name is Jesse Minter.
Mm-hmm.
He came from the University of Michigan.
Yes, he did.
So that's the type of coach that we need to hire in the offseason. There's a guy from the Broncos, name is Jim Leonard. He's one of those guys.
Yeah, I heard of him.
You can get an Aaron Glenn type. We're going to get to see Vance Joseph in the playoffs. So just watching some of these games, that's what you're looking at. That's what needs to happen here. So that's the hopium that I'm going to give you, that there are coaches like Jesse Minter out there. We just got to go through the process and get one of those. And I think you just rebuild this defense with a young, innovative coordinator guys are going to be excited to play for. And so you're going to see you're going to see the Chargers just flying around the field. They got a linebacker. His name is Dayon Henley. He's number 0. Cowboys should have drafted him, but a lot of teams had him off their board because his dad was, I think he was like one of the Crips or Blood or something. But that's what you're going to have to do big time is get some dogs and rebuild his defense and get out this choir board thing, and then just get you a young coach that you can grow with. I'm okay with some of the OG names that's being thrown around. I think the OG window has closed on some of those coaches. When you had Rob Marinelli, you could have had Todd Bowles, or there's like Jim Schwartz to keep Cleveland. But so watch Jesse Minter on Saturday, big time. He came from Michigan.
Yeah.
And so that's the route that we need to go.
What's your score, Joe?
I got 30-17.
Yeah. All right, B-Bird. Chargers.
So one thing, man, have y'all ever seen a Harbaugh team that eventually wasn't good? Like everywhere these guys went, he's won, man. I mean, either it's college. The guy had Stanford up there playing in Rose Bowls. The guy's just a coach, man. And I really wanted him until I heard them talk one time before, and they said they would never, neither one of them said they would ever coach for the Cowboys. Because why? They're real coaches, man. Those are alphas. They're not coaching for the Cowboys, man, because they ain't going to have Jerry telling them what to do.
Ben Johnson said that.
Knew when he went to the Chargers, I said he's going to turn that thing around immediately, because they got a quarterback there. They got a good players there already. And he brings in a culture. I don't know what it is, man. And big time, you might know because you're a Michigan guy. But everywhere the guy goes, man, all the dude does is win, man. And I was going to ask you a question too. Is that Jim Leonard? Is that the same Liner? Is that the same guy who used to play in the league?
Yeah, he played safety for the Broncos.
Yeah, played safety. Yeah, that's why I remember him, man. So the game itself, man, they getting everything together. They got everything to play for. I think I'm looking at 28-24 on the score, them winning. But it's that time of year, y'all, where I'm rooting for the Cowboys, but if we lose, it's some good stuff come out of that too. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, that's where I'm at. So it's something in the loss too there that I could take some solace in. So that's where I'm at right now.
A lot of my answer is dependent upon Saturday night. If the Eagles win, that's going, whatever air they had in them would be like putting a pin in a balloon. The energy level will not be the same because they already know the season is over with. That's an emotional thing. Yeah, they're going to come out and play, but that fire, that urgency, I don't think would be there if the Eagles win on Saturday. That's just me. But even if the Eagles lose, based off of what the Cowboys have made bottom tier quarterbacks look like. We just played J.J. McCarthy, and I thought it was Joe Montana out there. I'm serious. I thought John Elway had came out of retirement. We make every quarterback look good. With the exception of Justin Fields. That's been the only one that we have not made really look good. Everybody else has torched us. One way or the other. And so my question is, if we made JJ look good, what in the world do you think Justin Herbert gonna look like? That's what if Eberflus decide not to put no pressure on the quarterback this week, Justin Herbert is gonna light our tail up. And it's really just that simple. And so I don't think we're gonna win either. And I think it's gonna be, I think we're gonna lose by 10, whatever that 10 is. I don't know if we the Chargers have a pretty good defense. We don't. The Chargers have a pretty good offense. We don't. We don't have a good defense at all. So I don't see no hope, as Cowboy Joe said, hope in him. I don't have any. I'm calling it like it is, but I know that if the Eagles win, the sense of urgency is completely gone. And I don't see them doing it. Brian says Cowboys by 14. Whatever. I don't see it. And the funny part is, and I'll let it go after this. What the difference is this year and the other years? The reputation was about the Cowboys is that when it comes to big games, we lose and we beat up on the small teams. shoot, we done lost to every small team just about this year, other than the Jets. I mean, we beat the Giants, but I'm saying we done lost to Carolina. We lost to Arizona. We lost to Minnesota. These are the games we usually win. But we didn't do it this year. And then the crazy part is we won the games everybody thought we were going to lose. You know, the Philly game, the Kansas City game. You know, it's just a crazy, crazy year. And to be honest with you, I can't wait till it's over with so I can go ahead and start locking in on the offseason, because that's where my head is already. I'm sorry. I've seen enough. It is what it is. Go ahead and close it out, y'all. Anybody got closing thoughts real quick?
That's it for me.
All right. Yeah. Joe?
We're good.
All right, man. Listen, we appreciate everybody. I need everybody that's in here. Thank you for giving us some of your time. And go ahead and hit that like button again for us as you leave out. Hit that like button wherever channel you're watching this on. This has been the Cowboys OG Podcast. We try to come to you at least our day. We try to do Friday, but we three guys, we got a lot of things going on. We try to get it in. If we can't, we're coming. Whether it's a Saturday or whatever the case may be, but please understand we're coming. We appreciate all you guys. Follow these channels. I put it up here.
My son put our channel in there.
I did. I said I'm gonna put it on the screen again for you. Right there, there's a YouTube link. If you go in the chat, click onto that and subscribe, please. Subscribe to that channel real quick. Mine is here. I should have whispered to you, B-Bird. I'm sorry.
Oh, don't worry about it. I put it out there somewhere before, so we're good.
Right. There's mine, but all you got to do is click on that, and you can subscribe to that. These are our YouTube channels. All of us have Facebooks, I believe. You can go to that and just follow the show there. Listen, we'll see you guys next week. Either we'll be talking about strictly off-season stuff and who play Washington. I mean, nobody ain't gonna even care about that game there at all. But
Christmas Day.
I mean, come on, man. Christmas Day. I won't watch it, but whatever. But we'll see what's going on. Ladies and gentlemen, possibly a last minute game if Philly lose. Guess what? There's gonna be some Cowboy fans say, "Hey, we go. All you gotta do is win." Hey, I ain't gonna knock you. You're not lying. If Philly loses, guess what? You're still alive. Right. So we got a shot to make the playoffs if that's the case. But if Philly wins,
what they said, Dumb and Dumber. So you say we got a chance, huh?
We got a chance. Yeah, exactly. So if the Cowboys, if Philly wins, though, we might as well start bringing you notes for off-season work and all that stuff, and we'll get to it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for showing up with us tonight, and we're signing off. This has been the one and the only, the Cowboys OG Podcast.